Good morning. If you can gradually, no rush, just gradually find your way to your seats, that would be lovely. Thank you. Good morning again. My name is Beth Spalding. I am not on the staff here at this beautiful Unitarian church. I am a minister. I'm from Boston. But more importantly, I have known Paul and Renee for quite a few years now. Paul and his sister Emily and I actually grew up in the same town, went to the same high school, along with several others of us here today, and also watching on the live stream. It is hard to be here, but it is good that we are here. It is good that we are here to share our grief, our anger, laughter, tears, memories. It is good that we are here to support Kayla and baby Zoey, and Renee and Paul and Annie and Sam and Rosie. It is hard to be here, but it is good that we are here. I would like to read the post about Jacob that Renee and Paul and others have shared on social media, beautifully written by Jacob's brother-in-law, Dylan. Jacob Paul Reber, a husband, father, son, brother, and friend, passed away on May 6th, 2023, at the age of 27. Although his departure brings great sorrow, his memory will forever be cherished by those who had the privilege of knowing and loving him. Jacob is survived by his wife and best friend, Kayla, who shared a deep and unwavering love with him, and their beautiful daughter, Zoey, who brought immeasurable joy to Jacob's life. He reveled in the role of being a doting father, and Jacob's love and commitment to his family will forever be etched in their hearts. He was born to Renee and Paul and shared a special bond with his sisters, Annie and Rose, and his brother, Sam. Jacob had an infectious passion for gaming, and one of his favorite pastimes was playing Defense of the Ancients, otherwise known as Dota, with his friends. His quick wit and jovial spirit made him a desired teammate. Beyond his gaming prowess, Jacob possessed a talent for the culinary arts as well. The kitchen was a place of magic and experimentation, and it's a testament to his creativity and ability to bring people together. While we mourn the loss of Jacob, we must also celebrate the wonderful person he was and the incredible impact he had on those around him. As we bid farewell to him, let us remember the good times, the dedication to his budding family, and his calm spirit. Thank you, Dylan. Through several conversations over the last couple of weeks with Paul and Renee, as we talked about Jake's passion for gaming and passion for the kitchen, a very simple image came to mind. The table. Tables for gaming. Though I know that as he grew up, tables later gave way to gaming consoles and Discord. At an early point, Jacob was introduced to games around a table with his family and friends. And in fact, I have proof of that from a memory shared by a friend of Paul and Renee, Alana Golden, who sent this following story, and I quote, "One of the more amusing memories I have about Jacob was the first year that I met him. It was my first year at the New Year's party that has been going on for almost 40 years now. Annie had to be taken to the hospital because she got chlorine in her eyes, leaving Jacob with the rest of us. Fortunately, he happened to be a whiz at a game that I had not yet played, Settlers of Catan. So Jacob was my partner, helping me learn the ropes of Settlers. And as I recall, we did fairly well. At some point while we were playing, he turned to me and said, 'I know you're just trying to distract me so I don't worry about Annie.' I thought it was the funniest thing to have a kid call the adults out on how they were handling a situation. So I love this. I love the idea of Jacob just saying, 'Hey, adult, come over here. I'm going to teach you how to play this game.' And that he knew exactly what the adults in the room were up to. It was part of his character to share games and the things he loved with others. And all this happened around a table. When physical tables gave way to Discord, board game arena, Jacob was still sharing what he knew with others and building community around those virtual tables. I learned that Jacob made salsa from scratch, and that he loved to experiment with new culinary creations, particularly appetizers, man after my own heart. I picture family and friends gathered together, sampling, tasting, giving feedback, no doubt, laughing and enjoying it being together. And all this happened around a table. During the pandemic, gathering around physical tables became difficult, but Jacob and his family were able to gather around virtual tables, gaming and otherwise. And I know from my husband Josh that when he and other friends joined in to play games online, that Jake was welcoming and helpful and also could play circles around them. In times to come, there will be an empty space at the table, but his presence will be there. It will be felt in memories and stories and laughter and love. Kayla, Paul, Renee, Annie, Rosie, Sam, your family and friends are here and online watching. They are here to love and support you and to help keep Jacob present to you all and to his baby Zoey. Kayla asked that I read a poem by Henry Scott Howland called "Death is Nothing at All." Death is nothing at all. It does not count. I have only slipped away into the next room. Nothing has happened. Everything remains exactly as it was. I am I, and you are you. And the old life that we lived so fondly together is untouched, unchanged. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by the old familiar name. Speak of me in the easy way which you always used. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes that we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me. Let my name be the ever be the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without an effort, without the ghost of a shadow upon it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is absolute and unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am but waiting for you for an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well. Nothing is hurt, nothing is lost. One brief moment, and all will be as it was before. At this time, after I get a quick drink of water, I would like to share some memories that have been written by family members. Other family members will get up and speak. I also invite any of you, thank you, Kendra, any of you who have memories that you would like to share, stories you would like to share, you can come up here, or we have a mic I can bring to you. These are the words of Jacob's mother, Renee. I love you, Jacob. Although I do have quite a few choice words to say to you for leaving us too soon. While my heart breaks when I think of all the firsts that will no longer be, and I am totally dreading this next year, what I will miss most and what makes me smile most are remembering you teasing me and patting me on the head for being short. How much you cared for those around you, especially Kayla and Zoey. Your uncanny ability to quietly navigate and set us straight when things went awry. How quickly you picked up new games and strategies for winning. Your perfect eyesight. Your love of cats, particularly Dio, and of bodies of water, margaritas, the ones your mom made, of course, drawing, doodling, painting, and pajama days. That you were my only child with whom I could share all things seafood. How you love to argue about politics and philosophy. Your mind was always beyond your years. I will never forget my little boy who stroked my hair before bed and announced that it was not logical for Santa Claus to be real at the age of 2. Who, as a very young child, wanted to debate the existence of God before going to sleep at night, and who asked for his mom's pumpkin muffins, even in adulthood. I take comfort that you were happy and looking forward to the future, watching your daughter grow, continuing family vacations, perfecting your signature dishes, and even hoping to raise Zoey in Evanston. I promise I will do my best to honor your memory and make sure that Zoey will always know the love of her dad. At this time, I invite Paul, Jacob's dad, to come up and share some thoughts.
Okay, I'm just going to try to say something short. That feels very unnatural to me. Everything about this does. People who know me know that, my normal tendency is just to talk forever, or sometimes not to say anything at all. But I just want to share one recent memory of my son. Because we had started playing games together, video games together online in the evening. Have a sort of a floating group of friends. We'd get together, played a game called Dota. Some of the people who play with us are here, I think. So those games play teams 5 people. You organize things so that one person is on their own, and then there's 2 pairs. Jake's good. Jake was good. So he could play the solo role. We would try to win. Sometimes he'd find an excuse not to play that role. And he'd kind of bail out to be in one of the pair teams. And then I'd race to try to lock in the other half of the pair without telling anybody what I was doing. We would just get to play together. The way the game sets up, the beginning of the game is a little bit more individual, so I would just be there for 5 minutes playing next to my son virtually. And it just made me so happy to be playing the whole game, smiling, like nobody can see. People would be mad, maybe we'd be losing or something. I didn't really care. But I never said anything about it out loud. I didn't want anybody to know that I was trying to pair up with him. I never said anything to Jacob about it. But he probably knew. He's really good at noticing things like that. I think he knew that if he wasn't, that I was trying to set things up so we could be together. And I was so proud to be playing with him. Not because he's good at the game, because he was growing up. And he's understanding what I've always done with those video games. It's like, it's a place to hang out with other people who are my age, have lives, jobs, families, kids, talk about stuff. When you're young, you want to win, you want to get better. Jake was good at all that. But he was seeing this other role, this other place to be social. And he was with me. He's part of our community. Now he's gone. I've lost my lane partner. It kind of feels dumb to complain about that, given everything else we've lost, what Kayla and Zoey have lost. I do really wish I'd said it out loud to him. It's kind of trite and ridiculous, but tell your loved ones you love them, because you don't know. So, all right. I'm not a spiritual person. Not the first time in my life I've discovered that is a challenge when things can be difficult, because spirituality is a solace to a lot of people. What I am is a memory guy. About my profession, my scientific work, my career. So I think a lot about how memory is important for us kind of knowing who we are and knowing how we're connected to each other. So I'll ask you to remember my son. To remember him well, and as often as you can. The little things, the big things. Even though a lot of those memories hurt right now.
Kayla has asked me to read her thoughts, her memories today. Hey, Jacob, let's be clear, this is not some goodbye letter. You can't get rid of me that easy. I will be with you again one day. I was serious when I had us say specifically on our wedding day, not even in death shall we part. We will pick up right where we left off. I can't wait to tell you all about your daughter. I see so much of you in her already. So I am sure I will have my hands full here. I am going to do my best to give her the happy and loving life we wanted for her. So while I am here doing that hard work, remember these things. You are still the smartest and funniest person I know. You are still my best friend. I still love you just as much today as I ever did, and that will never change. Less than a year ago, we stood at the altar, and in your vows you said that you knew for certain that you could say with 100% honesty that if soulmates exist, I was yours. Well, soulmates must exist. There is just no other way to explain how perfectly we fit together. You are still and always will be my soulmate, and that will never change either. I am going to miss you every day, but I know you are going to be watching over me and Zoey. So I will still talk to you all the time. I will still know you are right there next to me whenever I watch one of our favorite shows, and I will always know you love me and Zoey just as much as we love you. This is the time in the service where if any of you have memories or stories of Jacob that you would like to share, I will intersperse a couple of other family readings in between. But let's start with Jacob's Aunt Emily.
It's been a while since I thought of myself as Auntie Em. That was a nickname when the kids were little. I wish I had a memory of Jacob to share, but I'm afraid my mind has gone blank. At these last few weeks, So I went to one of my favorite poets, Billy Collins, who writes about life and joy and death. And I found a poem that made me think of Jacob. It's called Vivace, and it opens with a quote by Christopher Morley. No man is lonely while eating spaghetti. This time, I was at a corner table at Pasta Vivace on that side street next to the old music store. The place was not at all crowded. Just enough young men and women were coming and going to keep me occupied as I sipped my Campari and soda and waited for the waiter to arrive with my pasta. I imagined what the parents of all these people were doing this evening. Then I thought of all the diners as babies with looks of amazement on their tiny faces. Then as they kept arriving and departing, holding the door for one another, They turned into skeletons in their caskets, each being carried by 6 husky pallbearers, who would also be dead by now, as I would be too before long, for death is the magnetic north of poetry. But first, I must insist on having the pleasure of eating my linguine con vongole, dipping chunks of crusty bread into the briny sauce. For this is also a poem about happiness, a celebration of the senses, and of all the men coming and going, and women coming and going. And if you turn your head a little this way, you can see me at a corner table, twirling the pasta with a fork and spoon, like an infant with a bib tucked under his chin. I'm gonna miss you, Jacob.
I have a memory or a reading to share from Kayla's mother, Tina. 3 weeks ago, we received the most horrible and devastating news that our wonderful son-in-law, Jacob Reber, had died. It just didn't seem real, and to this day, we still find it hard to believe. We just wanted his friends and family to know how much he meant to us. When Jacob and Kayla got married, everyone knew it was a match made in heaven. Kayla loved Jacob so very much, and Jacob adored her. A few months ago, when they found out she was expecting, you could not have found a more proud father to be. When little Zoey was born in March, he was so excited and proud to be her daddy. Jacob promised me that as long as he was around, I would never have to worry about Kayla or Zoey. We are so sorry we lost him so soon. He was a great husband, a wonderful father, and a great son-in-law, and we were proud to have had him in our lives the short time we did. Our heart goes out to Paul and Renee, Jacob's siblings, grandparents, and all of Jacob's family, and I hope they will stay close and help each other through this terrible time. If there's anyone else who has a story or a memory to share, please come up. I'll invite you again. I have another reading from Kayla's sister, Alyssa. To follow what Kayla has said, not even in death shall we part. That was meant for the two of you to promise each other on your wedding day, so I can understand if you're surprised at the fact that extended to our family also. You won us over from the beginning by the way you came in and showed your love for Kayla, then by being the best uncle to Addison. None of us could teach her nearly as much about Minecraft, building forts, or putting on unplugged headphones and ignoring dumb questions from people around her. You are one of the most whatever guys I have ever met. So when you were around us and became comfortable, you were honestly the best. You were so kind to each of us, even with all the different personalities and craziness that each visit brought. You started out loving us for Kayla's sake, but over time, that moved to genuine care that we all felt and are so grateful for. You have no idea how much your physical presence will be missed or by how many. You have been a part of our family for a while now, but I believe the true moment you knew, without a doubt, was when Kayla came and you came down to announce your engagement. Before you mentioned it, the look on your face said so much already. The excitement mixed in with trying not to blurt anything out, playing like nothing was going on. Then once you two finally yelled it out, I was surprised that you could look any more happy than before. Watching and feeling you embrace everyone into a hug, you couldn't stop moving, hugging, or smiling. I am beyond thankful I will always have that memory of you. I believe that was your, aha, Kayla's stuck with me and I don't mind being stuck with her family moment. I'll never stop talking and telling you how much we love you, how great of an uncle you are, how great of a dad you already were, how grateful we are to have Zoey in our lives because of you two, how thankful we are that our sister, the kindest, most caring and understanding person, found her person and was able to experience your love for her on this earth, and that you were able to experience her love for you through everything. I know for a fact everyone has a person meant for them, and that doesn't just end when our time here is up. I'm thankful in knowing that no matter where or how much time has passed, that we are now a family and will see each other again no matter what. This time here is just a drop in the ocean compared to the time we will have. But for now, while we have to wait, I'll learn how to be the second best fort builder for Addison. Learn chess with Kayla so we can teach Zoey. And most important, keep that thing of green apple Jim Beam on us when we are remembering and celebrating you. Thank you for all of the memories that we can go back on while we're here, and here's to even more in the next chapter.
My name's Jeff. I grew up with Paul. I asked Travis to come up because I'm not going to make it through this. But since Paul spoke so well, I'm going to try. I grew up with Paul. There's a bunch of us here. We were all pretty smart kids in high school. Paul was the smartest. All five of every one of his AP tests and the best SATs. Jacob might have been actually smarter. When we would play on the computer. So there's this expression, science fiction writer said that any sufficiently advanced technology will look like magic. And so, at least from my gaming perspective, Jacob's play looked like magic. He could do things that I couldn't even reverse engineer and understand, and he did it all in real time, playing real fast, while talking and having a conversation on the side. So we'll think of him when we're at the table, and that's as far as I can go.
Just short memory of Jake. StarCraft is a competitive 1 versus 1 game. You can see what you're doing. You can't see what the other guy's doing. And you fight. So there was a time, Jakey, oh gosh, he was 6 years old, maybe 7 years old, and I was playing a game of StarCraft. And he was there, he was watching me play StarCraft. And we're early in the game, and all of a sudden, there are Zerglings coming into my house. And if you haven't played StarCraft, all I can say is that's not good when Zerglings are in your house. And Jacob said, oh, he hasn't expanded yet. He's still on one base. And he probably has just 8 or 9 drones and a spawning pool, and that's it. So if you can survive the next 30 seconds, yeah, you're going to win because your economy is ahead. I'm like, Jake, how do you know that? And he's like, it's obvious. Well, he was that good. So I'll miss him. So long, Jakey.
And now I invite Josh to come up, where the two of us will share some selected, chosen readings from Lord of the Rings.
I speak no comfort to you, for there is no comfort for such pain within the circles of the world. In sorrow we must go, but not in despair. Behold, we are not bound forever to the circles of the world, and beyond them is more than memory. My name is Josh Tauber. Like many of you, Paul and Renee are dear old friends of mine, and I had the honor and joy of watching Jake grow from a wee one to a precocious young man to a caring husband and young father. Among other interests Jake inherited from his father and shared with many of us gathered here was a love of the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. So this afternoon, I offer you some readings of Tolkien's poetry and prose. I sit beside the fire and think of all that I have seen, of meadow flowers and butterflies in summers that have been, of yellow leaves and gossamer in autumns that were, with morning mist and silver sun and wind upon my hair. I sit beside the fire and think of how the world will be when winter comes without a spring that I shall ever see. For still there are so many things that I have never seen. In every wood, in every spring, there is a different green. I sit beside the fire and think of people long ago and people who will see a world that I shall never know. But all the while I sit and think of times that were before. I listen for the returning feet and voices at the door. Jake loved to care for his family. Paul had remarked on the transformation that Kayla brought into Jake's life. His caring animated him. He grew from a disorganized and discombobulated teen searching for motivation to an eager partner making plans with his wife and looking out for his family. One way Jake expressed his caring was through his love of cooking.
While Gollum was away, Sam took another look at Frodo. He was still sleeping quietly, but Sam was struck most by the leanness of his face and hands. "Too thin and drawn he is," he muttered. "Not right for a hobbit. If I can get these conies cooked, I'm going to wake him up." Sam busied himself with his pans. What a hobbit needs with Coney, he said to himself, is some herbs and roots, especially taters, not to mention bread. Herbs we can manage, seemingly. Gollum, he called softly, I want some herbs. Gollum's head peeped out of the fern, but his looks were neither helpful nor friendly. A few bay leaves, some thyme and sage will do before the water boils, said Sam. No, said Gollum. Smeagol is not pleased, and Smeagol doesn't like smelly leaves. He doesn't eat grasses or roots, no, precious, not till he's starving or very sick. Poor Smeagol. Smeagol will get into real true hot water when this water boils if he don't do as he's asked, growled Sam. Sam will put his head in it, yes, precious. And I'd make him look for turnips and carrots and taters too if it was the time of year. I'll bet there's all sorts of good things running wild in this country. I'd give a lot for half a dozen taters. Smeagol won't go. Oh no, precious, not this time, hissed Gollum. He's frightened and he's very tired, and this hobbit's not nice at all. Smeagol won't grub for roots and carrotses and taters. What's taters, precious? What's taters? Potatoes, said Sam, the gaffer's delight and rare good ballast for an empty belly. But you won't find any, so you needn't look. But be good, Smeagol, and fetch me the herbs, and I'll think better of you. What's more, if you turn over a new leaf and keep it turned, I'll cook you some taters one of these days. I will. Fried fish and chips by S. Gamgee. You couldn't say no to that. Yes, we could. Spoiling nice fish, scorching it. Give me fish now and keep nasty chips. Oh, you're hopeless, said Sam. Go to sleep.
There is more good in you than you know, child of the kindly West. Some courage and some wisdom blended in measure. If more of us valued food and cheer and song and above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. But sad or merry, I must leave it now. The road goes ever on and on, out from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone. Let them a journey new begin. But I at last with weary feet will turn towards the lighted inn, my evening rest and sleep to meet.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm at the wrong time. But my name is Megan, and I've known Jacob for a little over 10 years now. Our paths would cross through a shared love of playing video games. He and Paul specifically always really stuck out to me as this really cool father-son duo who would come and play in the local StarCraft tournaments. And Twitchy, as we knew him, or Jacob, was really, really good and usually finished very highly in the tournaments. But more recently, as Paul alluded to, they became really central members in our group of gaming friends. Especially during COVID, we spent a lot of time hanging out online together. And we played this game called Dota 2. This small community of folks are the people that I spend the most time with, and they're the people that I care about very deeply. While Jacob wasn't the most talkative of the bunch, he had a wonderfully dry sense of humor that never failed to make all of us laugh. In one game, for example, we all agreed at the start of the game to say the name of our abilities every time we used them. Most people naturally stopped within a few minutes, but Jacob was one to always commit to the bit 100%. So in his completely deadpan voice, he named every single ability he used for the entirety of the game. But it wasn't just humor that Jacob added to the group. He was so good at any game he tried. The wheels in his brain were always turning and he ran circles around all of us. But more importantly, Jacob was the type of person who used his skills very selflessly. He'd patiently carry us to a win, and he never blamed us for a loss. He would quietly try to make the game more enjoyable for everyone involved. And he never said it or drew any attention to it. But if you watched him closely, when we'd play against each other, you could see him very subtly making decisions to try to make the game more exciting for everyone. Something happened in game recently that reminded me a lot of Jacob. Our team was having a rough game and we were about to lose, so the mood was understandably pretty grim. But we managed to catch the enemy out of position, and they were about to jump to safety. So I had my character throw out this dagger as a last resort to try to prevent the enemy from escaping, just as they leapt up into the sky to safety. Much to our amusement, the dagger actually followed this enemy straight upwards and off the screen completely. In confusion, I kind of joked, "Oh, that dagger went to heaven," thinking that it just kind of disappeared up there as a weird bug. The enemy then descended from the sky far away from us, having escaped. So imagine my surprise when not a split second later, that lost dagger came flying down, having followed the enemy all the way into the sky and back down. And in that moment, I chose to believe that Jacob was up there in Dota heaven and quietly redirected that dagger straight back down to help balance out an otherwise very one-sided game. I'd also like to think that he heard me screaming in joy at how cool that moment was. He was a good person who cared about his friends having fun, and that's something we're all going to miss very dearly. I'm proud to have known him, and that's how I'm going to remember him. An amazing, witty person who helped us all to have more fun together. Thank you.
There will be more time to share stories and memories during the reception here at the church. We will end the service today with a very brief video that is made up of several clips that have meaning for Kayla, and you will hear Jacob's voice throughout.
Going up at our morning. Going up at our morning.
Stealthy about the pleasures of being wealthy and about the pleasures of being, yeah, I can't keep following it.
Are you getting any good ones, Jacob?
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking a video?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're gonna want some videos too.
You're so cute.
Could bring that room down here to this one.
Oh, but it's got a little balcony.
There's no door or anything.
Rose will like this.
Ain't no door in bunk beds.
The foundation.
When are we going to see a real castle? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But it was I, Dio!
Slovenian treasure. It's called.
This is where they drop us.
Stop it. Look at me and say cheese.
Gorgonzola. Why do you have the flash on?
I do?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I have it recording. You don't have to smile that hard.
Assuming I can get more than 3 in.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die upon my own sword? Well, I see.
Do it. Yay.
Hey. I was just taking a video.
When we were walking in the hospital, I still couldn't see it. I felt like we were just walking in a baby class or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, we're not actually having a baby anymore, we're just walking in. She's barely even like 8 weeks pregnant.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Hey. What you doing?
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time?
On behalf of Kayla and Paul and Renee and Jake's family, thank you all for being here. The service is now over. You may please get up and circulate and enjoy fellowship time together in the reception. Thank you.